Back, Saints Nation. My name is Hayden King, also known as Phaser. I'm here with my great co-host and caster, my co-caster for tonight, Evan Johnson. How are you, Evan?
Feeling good, Hayden. I'm ready for some more CollegeCoD. I think the Saints are looking to keep their hot start to the season going, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've got two great matchups tonight. First, the Saints going up against Keuka College, and later on in the night, the Saints at 9 o'clock taking on Baldwin-Wallace University's Academy roster. So, Evan, what do we think about Keuka College?
Honestly, not much. I mean, but that's not even a bad thing necessarily. We just haven't seen anything from Keuka College yet. Both of their first two matches they've had the opportunity to play this season have both been forfeits. So it's not even the fact that, they might be bad or whatever. We haven't seen anything from them this year. So it's a bit of a question mark for the Saints, I think.
Yeah, true. 0-2, not the way they probably wanted to start the season with a couple forfeits, but, who knows? Anything could happen tonight, but I'm pretty sure our Saints boys are ready for them.
No, absolutely. I think good teams especially prepare for any team like they can beat you, right? Like any given day, a team like that could get a win. Maybe today is that day for Keuka College. The Saints are definitely going to have to be prepared for it, but I think they're up to the challenge.
For sure. We've got some standings coming up here we can take a look at, be able to break it down for us. As we can see, the Saints 2-0. Off to a great start. The Academy roster, a little bit shaky, 0-2, but, we've got two matchups tonight. Of course, like we said, Baldwin-Wallace University Academy, 1-1, and like we had just touched upon, Keuka College, 0-2. I think, maybe a little bit more interesting later tonight with Baldwin-Wallace. What stands out to you in these standings?
Well, I think right now it's just hard to really get anything really standing out because we've only had two games, right? So we have this kind of three-way split between, each kind of grouping of teams there. So not really much to talk about. Like, obviously, it is nice to see the Saints up near the top of the leaderboard, but it's still way too early in the season, I think, to really get anything concrete, especially to how the season from here is going to play out. But that doesn't mean that these games aren't important. The Saints are going to want to keep their hot streak going. They want to stay at the top of the standings, and hopefully they can get these two here to finish 4-0 by the end of today.
Yeah, being able to finish 4-0, right at the start of week 2 of CollegeCoD is going to be important for the Saints. They have two opponents that may not be too warmed up, but it's important that they're able to capitalize on that opportunity and able to get 2 wins for tonight.
No, like you said, any given day for any team could be a potential problem here. But like I said, the Saints have an excellent roster highlighted by two of the best SMG players in the CollegeCoD League in Cody and Rupert. What are you hoping to see out of them tonight?
I'm expecting big things. You're on the first cast against John Carroll. I was on the second, and they played amazing throughout the entire both series. I thought they were fantastic. I thought Rupert was just phenomenal. Cody was able to back him up, able to kind of come in. But I think tonight, Seawads is my player to watch. I was watching him before the game. He was scrimming there before everyone else. He was dialed in, and he's ready for tonight.
Yeah, all the boys are locked in. We talked to them earlier. Rupert and Cody especially, they're really good friends. They have that close bond, so that the two of them are going to be performing well. I'm really looking to see either of them, especially on something like S&D or Control. I'm really looking to see how Cody or Rupert are going to be getting in those flank lanes with the SMGs. Like we saw in the earlier broadcast in the week, if you were tuning in for that, that was something that really swung the match for the Saints, is that Rupert or Cody was able to get in the back line and disrupt because no one can touch them when they're up close like that. So that, I think, is going to be a very big difference maker for tonight.
Yeah, the team chemistry, really important. They've already logged a ton of games with each other. I see them scrimming all the time in our Nexus stage there. Almost every day I see them up there. So it's good to see the boys, being able to compete, especially with each other. And I think the whole roster is going to have a night. We haven't even touched upon Bendy, who, of course, my first cast last week had some great plays, had a nice highlight reel jump into the pool off Skyline with one of the opposing players who, just wasn't aware. But I think that the Saints tonight, they've got to lock in. They've got to be able to focus. We got to make sure this is some quick matches. We don't want to fool around. They had a little bit of a hiccup on their last match of Control. I thought they weren't executing as rock solid as they could. Tonight, I think they're going to dial in. Brandon's going to have them locked in for sure.
Well, that would be the best case outcome. And, you mentioned that Skyline trick. Maybe we'll get a sequel of that tonight. We will be seeing Skyline later on in the stream. I believe in match 2, we might get 2 games on Skyline potentially. A fan favorite map for sure, I think. But the Saints we've already locked in the maps. I think we're going to be starting out Hardpoint on Vault, if I remember correctly. What do you think about that first map choice?
I'm a big Vault enjoyer. I like that kind of the layout with a hole dead smack in the middle. The pool side is very interesting, and I love the inside, that catwalk. I mentioned it last week, that catwalk that kind of overlooks the pool, overlooks the inside of that big building in the middle of the map. You're able to hold that position, especially on a map like Hardpoint where you got to rotate between all the points. It's a really powerful spot. If the Saints can hold that and, be able to frag out on the hard point, defend it for themselves, should be a quick match.
And to add to that as well, because you're going to be switching points so often and everything kind of varies, like you're going to have some points that are inside, there are those points that are outside, that long A side where, on S&D where that one usually is, you're going to get a lot of opportunities for different people on the team to shine, right? We were talking about CoD, we were talking about Rupert and how good they are with the SMGs, but then the guys who are pulling support, using the ARs, like the AMES or whatever, they're also going to have their opportunities to get some stuff done. So it's a really good one to start with so that every member of the team is going to be able to show off what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, the difference between SMGs and ARs. I talked last week with Chris. He was talking about, C was. I always refer to him as Chris. C was. He was always talking about how, we sometimes run 2 SMGs, but if the map, calls for it, we'll switch to that third SMG, vice versa. If we need an extra AR, they're very flexible, the Saints. They're able to swap into whatever the team needs, whatever the map calls, or whatever the game mode calls for sure.
And again, that's a sign of a very well-knit group, right? They have good chemistry together. Brandon is such a good coach. This is his first year as the new coach.
Yep.
So this is week 2, but he's been doing a phenomenal job right now. The boys already have chemistry with him, so I think they've been, like I said, they've been dialed in. Like they really have been, and I think that won't change tonight, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's important, like you said, for Brandon to make sure he's communicating with the boys as much as possible, able to keep their cool. I know last week I saw him, talking a lot after that Skyline match. They had, kind of fumbled. They had started off the year, I believe it was 8 points in a row on S&D. They lost their first, and Brandon was immediately talking to the squad after, saying, "Hey, okay, we lost that one. The streak's over, but it's time to regroup. We got to finish this off strong." I think Brandon will have them dialed in, locked in for tonight, for sure.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Like you said, you always see him around. He just seems like a nice guy, doesn't he? Like, he just seems like a good guy to talk to. And, the Saints will be ready. But let's switch gears now and let's talk about Keuka a little bit because we really haven't mentioned them a lot tonight. We know we said that we haven't really seen them yet, but if you're on the side of Keuka, what is your mindset going into this game against a good team like St. Clair?
It's to be competitive, to be honest. Like early on, you want to make sure you don't get destroyed on hardpoint. We know the Saints are a great hardpoint team. It's important for them to, make up a little bit of ground, try to form some kind of, plan, whether it's to take a certain point or to be able to have an opportunity to retake a certain point, to kind of build up some points early, hopefully for Keuka, and make it competitive at least, and see where it goes from there. We know the Saints could be a little bit weaker on those no respawn game modes like S&D. So if they're able to make hardpoint competitive, make the Saints sweat a little bit, they might be able to take a point in this series. But I'm not too sure that Keuka has a chance, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, we're going to see it. We did say that any given day, right? Any given day, any given stream, something could happen. I think for Keuka, if hardpoint is a bit of a wash, which it might be, like we've been talking about how dominant the Saints are. Maybe it's S&D control where you might be able to steal something, right? Like, maybe you can get one round, or, just catching the Saints off guard a little bit, right? Like, it definitely is possible, but I still think the Saints have this one locked down. But you never know. Like, an opponent you haven't really gotten to see, like you can't watch any film of, is a little interesting, especially if you're rolling a little bit like St. Clair's. You don't want to get complacent, right? That's the biggest thing. So I think if the Saints can kind of stay the course and just play the way they like to play, they should be fine.
Yeah, nothing special. We don't need any antics or anything like that. Just get the job done against Keuka. Move on to the second match against Baldwin Wallace. Their academy roster, like we saw, they're 1-1. Of course, their one victory came against Keuka in a forfeit, so they haven't really been able to generate a little bit of momentum like the Saints have. They were able to 3-0 both of their matches. Their first loss came against the Canador.
It's the Panthers.
The Panthers.
Yes,
the Panthers. I'm learning CollegeCoD. The Panthers. They were able to, pick up a nice victory against Baldwin Wallace, and they're probably going to look tonight to, again, make it competitive, try and steal one, use that to kind of accelerate, hopefully take another, and try at least to bring the Saints to 4 or 5 games. But who knows? I'm not sure either of these teams are going to really put up a good fight against St. Clair.
Probably not. I mean, the Baldwin Wallace squad, that is an academy level team. I doubt the Saints are going to struggle against an academy roster. It would be shocking if it did happen, though. I mean, I would genuinely would be surprised. But from what we've seen, like that first game we were talking about against the Panthers, they got 3-0, they got completely swept. I think that is definitely telling to the talent of the roster. Like, great job that, you got your little free forfeit win, but, now you're facing another real team again, and now it's time to see what you're really made of.
Yeah.
But the Saints should be fine. I'm not super worried.
Yeah, for sure. And we had mentioned, a little bit before about our map pool. Of course, we have Vault to start. I believe we have Hacienda, Search and Destroy, second up, and Protocol. Out of those 3 maps, do you have a favorite? You have a game mode you're looking out for, a map you're looking out for? What would you think?
Well, Hacienda, I think, is definitely one that jumps out for me, especially as a Call of Duty veteran. That's a classic map. It's been in a few games now. It's just I would say it's a fan favorite, but obviously, I mean, I'm sure there are some Hacienda haters out there. Don't come after me on social media. But Hacienda is a great choice. There's a lot of good spots for elevation. That middle where you have sort of that opening with those balconies is a very chaotic spot, especially, if one of those points ends up in there. But I don't know, like Protocol, that's fine. Protocol's okay. Like, I think if I had to rank them, I'd probably go Hacienda, Vault, Protocol on the bottom. But I think it's much personal preference. Good map picks, I think, for the Saints. Like, they are maps that they're very comfortable with. And we'll see Skyline later, like we mentioned earlier. That's another popular map in the rotation right now. The Saints also are a big fan of Skyline. So I think they have a good choice of maps for tonight. Nothing really that stands out as like a potential like a wild card pick. So I think they should be pretty comfortable no matter where they play tonight.
Yeah, I think Hacienda. I was watching Seawads earlier. He was here, and I was learning the map myself. I'm relatively new to Black Ops 6, but in terms of the flow of the game, it looked like a nice map. You have some lanes, some open spots in the middle of the map with that big plaza and all that. But I really think that the Saints need to just play it like normally. There's no trickery. There's nothing extremely different they need to do tonight for sure.
No, and the thing about Hacienda as well, it's a really good map. Like, if you can set the spawn trap up nicely, like, you can basically, like, it's very, very hard to take back control if you set it up properly. If you can get control of those 2 lanes, like, if you have somebody set up with an AR, set up with an AR long and have, like, sort of like a roamer with an SMG, kind of run in the bottom area, kind of like the garage around, like, the other side, like the outside. It's such a tough map to break through. I mean, like, especially in a game with control, or SND, like when your lives are so important, that's really what the Saints are going to want to do. They're going to want to establish control, and I think they're going to be able to.
Control is the name of the game for sure tonight for the Saints. We're going to be back soon. We're going to take it to a quick break. We'll be back with some Call of Duty action coming up very soon. Welcome back, Saints Nation. We are here, our first match of the day. Keuka College versus St. Clair College. Hardpoint on vault. A statement ready to be made at the start of this match. Beautiful stuff here from Eagle to open it up for Keuka. Followed up by Seawads. Up on the top ropes. St. Clair getting some points on the board early. We had talked about Keuka College needing to establish something early, but St. Clair is having none of it early on. Rupert with the double. Knows one's behind the car, aware of Strafe's position. Can he fight back? Strafe able to get some damage onto Rupert. Hiding behind the tree, reloading. Beautiful stuff out of Strafe. Keuka College now need to answer back as St. Clair takes a 25-point lead early.
Yeah, that was a great trade from Strafe there, because Rupert was kind of putting him in a blender there. I mean, he was kind of lucky that he had that tree in front of him, but just able to get those pistol shots home here. Lots of green in the kill feed right now. For those at home, St. Clair, the lighter green, Keuka College, the darker green in the kill feed. And it looks like St. Clair getting control back of this new hardpoint.
Yeah, again, St. Clair just able to ramp up this score early. 44 now as Seawads with a beautiful double. Beautiful stuff here from the Saints. 50 early on. Just always has one guy on the hard point. So we hop on board with KB, able to take out Toxic here. KB with a beautiful double. St. Clair is really running away with it here early, Evan.
Well, KB is, I mean, him and Seawads both, you know, 8-2, 7-1 respectively. Sorry, 8-1 now respectively. They both have just been absolutely killing it, no pun intended, with the AMS. And it's just showing here as Seawads gets another one there. So the AMS is just so strong in the current meta. It really is a Swiss Army knife type gun. And on a map like this where we were talking in the pre-show about those very long open sight lines, is now we're about to see on this current hardpoint that the Saints gonna get control of. These are really the moments where that kind of gun is gonna shine.
Yeah, for sure. We can see here Seawads able to take one early. Cootie, a little bit of cover fire. KB fragging out onto Turtle Girl. Strafe with a double of his own with the car explosion onto Cootie. St. Clair now just trying to make a little bit of a move as Eagle moves on to the hard point. Cootie having none of it as the Saints look to extend their lead now up to 90 points. A beautiful shot for Rupert there. Shot from the side. He's aware of another one's position right up to him. Pulls out the pistol. A beautiful double from Rupert. Could he find a third? No, he's denied by Turtle Girl. Cootie, pardon me, able to almost get the refrag. KB now filling up the scoreboard alongside Seawads. St. Clair up 103-5 early on. Still a ton of time left in this game, but St. Clair is making it almost impossible for Keuka College to make any sort of comeback.
Yeah, this is exactly the Saints like to play hardpoint. They love to play this suffocating defense. They always have somebody who gets out of rotation and moves on to the next hardpoint before, you know, like about 10 seconds, 15 seconds before the next one starts. And that really is giving them the time to adjust their strategy and control the map the way they want to play it here. Keuka has been able to get a couple picks that disrupt them a little bit, but since St. Clair are able to get this rotation set up so quickly, they're able to gain control of the map where Keuka could just get nothing going. I mean, they do have the point right now getting a little bit of progress here, but St. Clair is going to put a stop to that quickly now, as Seawads now, don't look now, is on a 6-player kill streak.
Seawads is lighting up the scoreboard along with KB in for Bendy tonight. 19-6. Beautiful stuff from Cootie and Seawads here as they are able to just wipe the floor with Keuka. 143-17 is the early score. Cootie now, another one onto Eagle. Straight follows it through back to KB. Cootie filling up the scoreboard for St. Clair as they look to approach that 150 mark. They do, and beautiful headshot from Cootie there. KB, Rupert follow it up. Rupert, nice double as the Saints just are dominating both the kill feed and the hardpoint positioning here. Nice stun from the Saints as Eagle tries to get some utility into the point. Seawads now with a beautiful double and a triple. A 10 spree for Seawads to start this game. You couldn't ask for anything better. Cootie and KB following it up, 174-17 for the Saints.
Is it too early to say Seawads has gone godlike? I think it might be a little best because, of course, as soon as I say it, Announcer Jinx, he ends his streak, but 20-4 is incredible. But one thing I want to highlight right now is look at Rupert's objective time. 2 minutes plus on just the objective. And he still has 11 kills. He's still doing well on a bit of a streak of his own. Not to be outdone. CoD, though, on his 5-kill streak. He has a bloodthirsty going right now, but Rupert right now is the reason why they've been able to win. He's that guy, like we mentioned, that's able to move quickly through the map and rotate so effectively. And look at that, like Rupert, even from range, clicking heads with the Jackal.
Keuka is playing scared here. They're aware of the shooters that St. Clair has. Seawads and CoD both 21 frags. KB with 23 of his own. CoD, oh, he almost had the ability to make that an 8 streak right there. And Rupert shut down as well, as Strafe is on a 3-kill streak of his own. But St. Clair is just filling up the scoreboard. 225-19 as Strafe tries to get onto the hard point. CoD denies it. Another beautiful shot from KB onto Eagle. A beautiful flick from KB to keep the hard point in the favor of the Saints. Toxic Agent has nothing from range. KB, another beautiful headshot onto Eagle. The Saints are looking to wrap it up in swift fashion. 242-19, 3:33 left. Evan, this has been a massacre once again on hard point for the Saints.
And Seawads just coming in with the kill streak for extra salt in the wound here, that extra triple at the end there. Just absolutely clinical and surgical from St. Clair on this first hardpoint map. And yeah, like they were just playing exactly the way we knew they were going to. Suffocating defense. We have people moving around the map to set up their next objective. That's just absolutely perfect. Textbook hardpoint play, and there was just nothing Keuka was able to do there.
Absolutely nothing. CoD, Seawads, KB coming in for Bendy right there, and they were all able to frag out. Of course, Seawads, a beautiful 10-kill streak. CoD with 8 of his own. Rupert holding it down. The Rock on the objective for St. Clair. Keuka was just, they weren't able to really get anything going like we talked about. They had to establish something early. That is not the way you want to start for Keuka, but a perfect scenario for the Saints.
No, absolutely not. When you have 3 members of the Saints who are in the 20s, 4 kills, I mean, that should be a sign right there. I mean, like, even though Rupert didn't crest 20 like the other guys did, he was still the rock the team needed, and I think he should be the unsung MVP, because, you know, it is a bit of an unsung role, the guy who has to only play objective and not frag a little bit. I think seasoned Call of Duty players can understand the feeling, you know, of solo queuing in a hardpoint match and having to just play the objective the entire time because your teammates just want to run around and try and get picks, right? But again, great start for St. Clair. This is exactly what they needed, and I think they're going to carry this momentum into the next one.
Yeah, for sure. I think Rupert was like, here, guys, you know what? I'm going to let you guys frag out for this one. I'll take the hard point. You guys can have some fun. Now, Rupert's probably going to want to get in on some action early here, but, you know, I think the Saints really laid the groundwork right there for a solid performance, a solid 3-0, possibly coming up here as we move on to Protocol for our next map, S&D. I was mistaken. I thought it was Hacienda, but that's all right. It should be interesting here. We know the Saints are a strong respawn game mode team. I'm excited to see S&D on Protocol for sure. What are you looking forward to here, Evan?
The biggest thing, I think, is going to be the pace, because the pace of the game is going to dramatically shift from what we saw in a hardpoint game to something like S&D, right? Call of Duty is usually this like pretty frenetic, you know, lots of fast-paced action. That's usually how a lot of people are just wired to play the game. So sometimes switching to a mode like S&D where you have to sort of play it a lot slower, a lot more tactical, sometimes that switch is a little bit jarring for some players, but we've seen the Saints do very well on S&D, even, you know, losing a couple rounds here and there. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They have been very strong, and I'm going to look to see, like we said, Rupert, he's the guy we're going to be looking for to really, you know, get in the back line and be that disruptor, that infiltrator. He is going to be the difference maker here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Saints, they sometimes stumble out the gate on search and destroy, but it's important here that they're able to press the advantage against Keuka. I think that, you know, they're able to, you know, establish a nice lead, a nice comfortable lead, especially on a map like Protocol. They're, you know, I'm not sure how familiar the Saints are. I know they played S&D last week against John Carroll. They had
John Carroll.
John
yes,
Carroll,
it was...
and they had a nice 6-0 game, and they lost their streak, their second match. But I think it's important here to just kind of forget all about your streaks, forget all about how hot your start is in those games. Keep the momentum here. Try and push Keuka out of this match entirely, because a nice 2-0 lead, that will solidify the game, really.
Absolutely. You never want to look too far ahead in any series. Like, no matter what, if it's an esports or regular sport, you always want to keep your mind on the here and now. And I think that's what St. Clair is going to be able to do here. Because like we saw in the last game, I mean, Keuka wasn't that much of a competition, not really that big of an opponent. There we kind of saw, like you said, I think you mentioned they were playing scared. I think that's really what we saw, and St. Clair was able to take advantage of that because they were just getting whatever they want here. I think we're going to see something very similar. I want to see a lot of aggressive plants. I think right off the start, like, let's just full rush point, let's just full rush site, and let's take control. Like, let's get this just over now, because we're over this.
Yeah, I noticed last week the Saints, when they were on S&D, they were able to establish a nice defensive position when they were on that defenseman. On the attack, they were able to kind of sneak through the lines of their opponents, able to take one frag, lead into another. That man advantage early on in Search and Destroy is something that is crucial for the Saints, especially, we know that, they like to frag out. They can't get too excited here. One at a time, one round at a time, one kill at a time, and they will succeed for sure against Keuka College.
No, absolutely. And I think the other thing, because they've had, now it's like, okay, guys, you've had your fun, getting your 23 kills, your 25 kills. Now it's kind of walk into play a bit more seriously. I think they've had the time to kind of get that out of their system, and now they're going to be switching their mindset. We are getting a little bit of a break here as well, so now you can kind of, talk with your teammates, get some strategy going. But like we were saying earlier, I think they have all the strategy they need in the bag right now. So... But if you're on the side of Keuka, now you also have a little bit of time to... Now you've seen what St. Clair is capable of. You know how aggressive they like to play. And like you said, they got shooters. Mm-hmm. They got shooters.
Yeah,
right? So it's like, are you able to win your 1v1s? Are you able to get the ones who are really just running up the scoreboard? Like, can you take out those big impact players and just get even just 1 or 2 rounds to get something rolling, to just get the ball rolling a little bit?
Yeah, Keuka's got to regroup. I believe at one point in that first hardpoint match, Toxic Agent was 1-14. Not a great start, especially against the Saints. You don't want something like that, especially on hardpoint. Those respawn game modes, you'll get punished, you'll get farmed, your spawn points will get trapped. This game, someone like Toxic Agent on the side of Keuka, they need to, establish a kill early, win the 1v1 early, gain a little bit of confidence. That can lead to a nice round win for Keuka. But, the Saints, they just need to play it. I wouldn't want to say safe. Safe is not a great word. You will always want to press the attack on something like this, but you want to make sure that you don't make any silly mistakes against someone like Toxic Agent, like Keuka, who didn't show too much, force on that first map. Like I said, they were playing scared. We saw it there. I believe it was Strafe, was hiding behind the car. CoD was just, raining down a couple shots on him, and he backed up. There was no attack, really, from the side of Keuka. They can't be scared on something like this in Search and Destroy, where, the game can get out of hand really early.
No, especially in a game like BO6 when movement is such a big part of it. Like, one thing I will shout out Keuka is that Strafe. I think he had a couple moments where he was able to sort of out-movement the Saints a little bit. He was kind of able to win a one, just kind of, sliding or like proning in a certain direction, like with that omni movement is enough to maybe just throw somebody off, even for just that little half second, right? Something like that is a big difference maker, right? And I think that's sort of what we need to see from Keuka. They need to find a way to be a bit disruptive and get creative in how they're approaching situations, right? Like, maybe it is about, like, if the Saints are going to be super aggressive, then let's do the same thing, right? Let's just full rush, and see, just see what happens. Like, maybe we'll win those ones, right? And like I said, that can lead to bringing in some confidence, right? Like, especially, like, with Call of Duty, sometimes, sometimes when you're on like a bad streak and you can't just get anything going, sometimes that does impact you a little bit mentally. As we see, look at the boys here, they don't look mentally weak to me. I think they look, yeah, I see you, Steve-Watts, I see you looking at the camera there. I think they look pretty locked in. We got Brandon giving some instructions right now. We are still waiting for round 2 to start between St. Clair and Keuka as we sit in the lobby and contemplate Call of Duty and all things St. Clair Saints.
The boys are ready. The boys are ready. We will be back, though. We will be back very soon as we are trying to get our last player into lobby with our second match of the day, St. Clair versus Keuka College. Be back very soon, Saints Nation. Welcome back, Saints Nation. We are here on protocol for a little bit of S&D between St. Clair College and Keuka College, as Keuka looks to take control of this lower site here. Maybe aware. We have a little bit of an issue with the HUD here. We're getting a little bit swapped. It seems that Keuka College has taken our St. Clair players, but that's okay. Cootie on the board with one. Turtle Girl now able to take one. Sorry, Cootie now able to take one. Turtle Girl's outside on the flank. The bomb is down now for Keuka, or for St. Clair, pardon me. And all Keuka can do now is sit back and watch.
Yeah, that was great. One down for Keuka, as St. Clair, like I had mentioned early, getting a early start with that super aggressive push onto that first site as Seawads getting the final kill of this one here, just hitting an absolute laser on the strafe there, standing up on that computer. Excellent work, St. Clair starting it off with a win.
Yeah, it was nice positioning there for the Saints there, but to just get right down into that site, able to get the bomb down quick, pressure early onto Keuka. Can they handle it? It doesn't look like it early on here, as Keuka now on the attack. See what they can cook up early on. Seawad's taking a nice kind of turret position here. Side of the map, Turtle Girl stuck in spawn. Strafe can't get one out onto KB as he strikes first in the second round. Grouper now, another one onto Eagle. Cootie follows it up with a third. And St. Clair is just wiping the floor right here, Evan. Again.
It really is just too easy for St. Clair here, as Look at KB, man. So inspirational here. I mean, we got him in the building. Like, absolute perfect spot. You know that that's such a dangerous crossing if you're trying to get through mid. You got both buildings, multiple windows. Really surgical stuff there from KB. I think he had multiple on that round, too. So, excellent work for the Saints. They continue to roll early.
KB has been a great stand-in here. Bendy was here last week. KB, of course, subbing in a little bit right now, but St. Clair, nice 2-0 lead early. Again, they're hitting this A site, the same plan as round number 1 as Rupert jumps in, gets one. CoD able to trade him out. 2v1 now for St. Clair. And just like that, really, it's all about this execution onto that lower site, Evan.
Yeah, they ran the exact same play again here, and Keuka just fell right into that trap here as they're all getting bunched up the spiral stairs here, and Cootie and KB just able to absolutely take advantage of that. Keuka had no answer for anything there, and again, what more can we say about how good the Saints are playing? They are playing dominant. I mean, KB hasn't even died yet, man. Like, he's 4-0 right now. We're in round, like, the Saints are just firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a farming simulator right now for the Saints as Keuka heads onto offense. Once again, KB taking up a high ground position inside the building. Rupert following suit. KB starting the round again. That's the second round this game that he's had an opening frag as Rupert's on a flank, finds the bomb. Seawad's the double agent. Frag onto Cootie, Rupert and KB following it up here. Turtle Girl, last one left for Keuka, trying to find anything. Unaware of his position. Rupert able to finish it off. Nice and early here. A 4-0 lead for St. Clair.
That was a great opportunity from Turtle Girl to get Seawads there, but just couldn't connect with the headshot here as Seawad's able to just tank most of that damage, and he's the one who comes away with that headshot here. I mean, that's just, you know, that is a bit of bad luck, I think, on the side of Keuka. They probably should have had that pick, but when you have two players on Keuka that are currently goose-egging it right now, 0-4, that is not a good way to start this S&D series. Yeah,
the Saints have met little resistance right here on Search and Destroy. Again, another A-site hit. It's relentless from St. Clair. Able to take the spiral staircase position. KB, another opening frag. That's 7-0 for KB in Search and Destroy. The bomb is heading down as Eagle takes out Cootie and evens the odds for Keuka.
Yes, the bomb is down at A, like we saw. Another just uncontested push on the side of Keuka, and St. Clair loves pushing that A site. You notice how they always try and clear the stairs as well. That's great use of tactical equipment here. Saints securing another one. Let's see who gets the final kill on this round here. It's going to Rupert. It's our guy Rupert. Let's see what he's been cooking up here. Just going absolutely crazy. Oh, just broke her ankles. Just broke her ankles in Call of Duty, if that's even possible. I mean, like, one more round, the Saints should have this one in the bag. Yeah,
it's almost little resistance, like barely any resistance here from Keuka. Saints up 5-0, although our HUD says otherwise. KB, MVP of S&D so far for me. 3 rounds at least with an opening frag as St. Clair looks to take this beautiful 6-0. Keuka now playing almost the same route. They're down there in the A bomb site, just like St. Clair. But KB, could he have another opening frag? Cootie steals it from him. As St. Clair able to take a man up, but Keuka does get the bomb down. Rupert with a beautiful double. Seawad's able to follow it up, and just like that, the Saints take S&D 6-0.
That was an incredible double by Rupert there, able to get that one back. Rupert getting a little cheeky team kill there, but easy win for St. Clair as they go 2-0 up in this series now. Just like, what can you even say? I mean, like, KB 7-0, Rupert 7-2, Cootie 6-2, Seawads 4-1. I mean, just everyone was playing on all cylinders in that one.
Yeah, KB was lights out. He was, able to take that I love that position up in that building. That kind of you get the lay of the land there. KB was able to just pick his target at will, able to turn the tides early, like we had mentioned, and just before the match had started, and really shut down any chance of a Keuka defense or attack at all in that game.
I think the biggest thing for me is that every single round, KB was going to that same spot on the windows, and he would get that opening pick every time. Keuka was not able to just work around that strategy, and I mean, he was doing it every time. So I'm not really sure what had happened there. Maybe some miscommunications, but yeah. And then they were trying to do that strat that St. Clair was running, where they're trying to rush that A site right away. I think St. Clair was ready for it. That's why they were able to retake the site so quickly. Yeah, just utter domination, total domination.
Yeah, they took a play out of St. Clair's playbook, but it was a little bit too late for Keuka. A nice clean 6-0. That's 2 6-0s this year for the Saints so far in S&D. And really, there's not really much to take away from Keuka's game right there. They just really were not on one in that S&D match like we maybe thought they would against the Saints team that, has a little bit more of a reputation for those respawn game modes for sure.
Yeah, we had mentioned that, maybe the switch in pace might be trouble for the Saints, but I think we were just trying to be, humble a little bit, right? But yeah, no, they were able to respond so quickly, so well. They could play you in any type of game mode, respawn, single life. Like, they are so good. They're just really good at Call of Duty, man. I think that's just the biggest thing we could take away from this now, is that the St. Clair team is just very good at Call of Duty. They're very good at what they do. And on the side of Keuka, when you have people that aren't getting any kills in a game like S&D, it's a big problem. That's a really big problem, man.
Yeah, not a great start for Keuka, but the perfect start for St. Clair. We're going to be right back, Saints Nation, with our third game, Control on Hacienda. But before that, a quick break. We'll see you guys soon. Welcome back, Saints Nation. Control, Hacienda, St. Clair, Keuka. It's going to be great. Starting out here. St. Clair on the attacking side. Rupert, a beautiful headshot. Seawads follows it up onto Eagle. Strafe. Refrags Rupert. CoD on the beautiful flank here. Strafe another one onto KB. CoD though not having any of Strafe's action early on as Saints have a 1 life advantage.
My God, absolutely deleted him. I mean, like, he just looked at him and then he was gone. I mean, that was crazy. We got great opening picks from Rupert as well. This is how they want to start this control. Getting on the points quickly, getting that life advantage up as soon as you can. St. Clair is just still in the driver's seat right now, picking up right where they left off, but it looks like Keuka might be fighting back a little bit.
A little bit of life here, but Rupert is denying the early frags, the early snowball effect. Seawad onto one, Strafe able to deny him. CoD aware of their position. He's just set up like a sentry outside that door. Turtle Girl not aware of his position, gonna get caught out. CoD. Could he start a streak here? He's in the same position. Nobody has got CoD out of that doorway as Saints are just filling up the feed. CoD, KB, and Seawads again. 1 point secured now for the Saints as they move onto the 8 point. CoD on a 5 spree. Could get another one. Strafe now. Trying to find something, but Keuka is really trailing right here.
That spawn trap is so mean, but St. Clair is playing it perfectly. This is looking like a quick match TDM lobby with the way they're trapping that spawn point. Keuka just can't go anywhere. I mean, Eagle does kind of get the drop shot onto KV, but gets traded out immediately. Rupert and Seawatch just absolutely having a field day with what's going on. Nothing on the side of Keuka. They could barely even get past the fence there. They're just ready for them.
Stuck in the garden. Rupert and CoD are dominating. KB double agent alert. Rupert finishes it up. St. Clair, beautiful 1-0 to start. Control on Hacienda. What more could you ask for right there, Evan?
I mean, that team kill that St. Clair had, that was the most recent, I think, points or kill that Keuka had in their favor the first time in a while. I mean, like, look at this here. I mean, like, Rupert just in the perfect spot. Keuka has no answer to the spawn trap as they are just hitting all of their shots right now. Rupert 11-2 right now, just going absolutely crazy in that first round.
Fragging out with no regard for the point, really. They're just playing this like it's team deathmatch. Sorry, as KB is 2-4, but the Saints are up early here. No need for heroics from anyone on the side of St. Clair. They just need to play it out like they would normally. Rupert setting up a defensive position early as Seawad starts us off here in the second round. CoD follows up another one. A Strafe gets one onto CoD. Rupert back onto Strafe. A beautiful killing spree now. A 10 bomb for Rupert. 11 now for Rupert. Could he find the 12? He is a little bit caught out. He's unable to make it 12. But a beautiful, beautiful start to the game for Rupert as Keuka tries to take control of a point, but they just are denied at every turn.
Yeah, St. Clair just knows this map so well. They are setting up their spawn traps just the way you their textbook, right? This is exactly the way you spawn trap in this map. I mean, and Keuka just has absolutely no answer for that. KB, how did you finish that kill on Toxic Agent? That was actually crazy as CoD continuing to frag out in the garage here. Not much for Keuka going. Turtle Girl 1-7, Eagle 1-9, Toxic Agent 1-8. How do you stop that?
It's all green in the kill feed for St. Clair. 30 seconds left now for Keuka. CoD is just hugging the car in the garage here, playing his life. KB tries to get one onto Strafe. Can't find it. St. Clair up 22 to 10 now in lives, just as I was speaking about that. The timer is running down. Keuka just has nothing on the offensive side. No time, no lives, as the Saints look to take a 2-0 lead early on Control.
Well, I think that 2-0 lead is going to turn into a 3-0 win very shortly. I mean, I can't even really talk about Keuka that much. We know they're getting the spawn trap, but like, look at this here. Sea-Watch just perfectly waiting. He's got that trophy system set up as well. Just so hard to take out when you have a setup like that. Playing that hallway just perfectly into that garage, getting that second kill. Again, we talked about how strong the aim is on a map like this, and we are seeing it full stop.
Yeah, for sure. CWADs with some beautiful shots right there to end the round. Saints, a beautiful, comfortable 2-0 lead here.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. I would be shocked if Keuka really has any fight left in them. A thrashing early on from St. Clair onto Keuka as they look to finish this off 3-0. St. Clair on the attack. CoD opening us up here. A beautiful frag onto Turtle Girl. Eagle follows up onto CoD. Rupert and KB trading out. Toxic Agent stuck behind the rock. Can't do anything but watch as KB takes him out. CWADs with another 28-25 on lives as St. Clair takes this B site early.
Yeah, they're just able to outmaneuver them in every single way. Like, in strategies, we had another grenade kill as well in the feed. But, yeah, just the movement that St. Clair is... The movement, we got 17. CWADs is just absolutely going mental right now, just getting everything he wants. We need to stay with him to see if he can hit that 20 bomb. Still letting the streak continue. Just amazing stuff here. Keuka has no answer for CWADs right now as they get into that spawn trap yet again.
Oh, the streak shut down. CWADs 1 away from 20. Oh my goodness, he has to be kicking himself right there as Rupert gets a triple with the missile, but is a little bit of a double Asian again onto KB. Oh my goodness, it is just all St. Clair. 4 lives left now for Keuka. All they can do is sit and spawn and wait for this one to end out. KB trying to finish it off. Strafe with a little bit of life. CWADs running in. KB with the final frag. St. Clair 3-0 control. 3-0 in the series. Evan, it's a great start to the night for St. Clair College.
Well, what did I say? That 2-0 lead is going to turn into a 3-0 win, and we were absolutely right here. Look at Piekny here. So inspirational as he was the main catalyst, I think, for that spawn trap. I mean, like, look at his positioning here. They're not even looking in his direction, and he is just mowing them down like he's mowing the lawn. Just going absolutely crazy. But we can't forget about CWADs and his incredible streak. Rest in peace, the kill streak. It would have been so crazy if he ended up getting a nuke in a game like this. Like, that actually would have been... I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in this type of Call of Duty play.
I was pointing to you. I was like, he has a chance. He has a chance for the nuke, but he couldn't follow through. But that's okay. I'm pretty sure that the Saints are going to be happy with a 3-0 over the personal nuke that C1s could have dropped right there. A nice start to the night. 3-0 against Keuka. Who stood out to you in those 3 games, Evan?
Honestly, I think each person, had their own moment to shine in that series. I think everybody kind of... was good in one series. Maybe somebody else kind of takes a bit more in the next one. But I think CWADs definitely is my MVP for that last series. I mean, like, what more can you say about almost a 20 player kill streak in a mode like Control? Like, that's just absolutely unheard of. Rupert as well, and CoD with the SMG play. It shows again how deadly that Jackal is, even from long ranges. And Keuka just had absolutely zero answer for either of them. Yeah,
I'm going with CWADs, my MVP for this first match for sure. A 20 bomb to start us off on hard point. Solid game on search and destroy. And like you said, the 19 streak on Control to end it off. CWADs, without a doubt, lights out the best player for the Saints.
No, you're absolutely right, and we're hoping that they can keep that momentum going here, but we are going to send it to another break, unfortunately, as we await the start of Game 2. Game 2. Let's hope the Saints can keep it going. We will be right back, Saints Nation. Hold on. We will be right back.